old Vince McMahon talking. I'm talking about my golden egg. I got it from The Rock. The Rock's going to come over here and he's going to pick up the golden egg.
Welcome to the 1, 2, 3 count. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD, and in this episode, we're going to review every Survivor Series ever in 3 words or fewer. Less. Well, it's fewer.
It is fewer, but really it's less.
Vince screws Starrcade.
Take that, Starrcade!
Oh, that's right. The history there is that Vince McMahon put on Survivor Series to screw over Starrcade.
No.
No, it's just a coincidence.
He wanted to put on a good show. It was November time. It was time to put on a fun show. And he put on a fun show. Why are you always trying to take the not Vince side of this thing?
It's not like NWA had WrestleMania before WrestleMania, and this was the thing, and Vince always probably had that in his mind, that WrestleMania isn't really his concept, it's just a different name for someone else's concept. Nothing like that.
Always taking someone else's side.
But I think we can both agree that behaviour, if it ever was in effect, stopped right there. Never happened again against any other WWE competition.
Not at all.
Jealous Randy Evils.
Very good. I just looked at this, I was like, there are 50 on card. There are 50 wrestlers on this card.
When you've got a lot of 5-on-5 elimination matches, Zeus can't wrestle.
Movie tie-in, brother.
Yeah. Survivor Series.
So, I've written, love this gimmick. I love the 1990 Survivor Series idea.
Yeah.
The survivors of each match then came together for one final Survivor Series match. So it ends up being like 7 on 3. The 3 good guys versus 7 baddies. And then obviously, the good guys win.
Brother Love managing.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
You do not. I always forget that about The Undertaker's debut. I watched it again to get this. I was like, 4-minute clip. I know this inside out. Purple gloves, I might write. Oh, what the? It's red-faced.
Brother Love.
Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard, yeah. For me, the thing I remember most about this is the commentary that has since been edited out of that clip in future because they think it dates it and makes it sound a bit silly, which is when Roddy Piper goes, "Look at the side of that ham hock!" So I've written, size of ham hock.
Ham hock with a hyphen.
Is ham hock not just one word?
I don't know. It's a hock of ham, isn't it?
It didn't spell check me on an Excel.
We've got VAR going on.
If not, I will hyphenate it.
Try and stop me.
Ham hock is 2 words.
Okay. Size of ham.
Size of ham of hock. Not best egg. In Survivor Series history, this is no longer the best egg.
Better eggs are coming. Should have been Taker.
Imagine.
Well, Taker thought that's what he was going to be doing. Taker, he said in interviews, I thought I was going to be the gobbledygooker because they were both debuting on the same show.
Flair's pay-per-view debut.
Flair WCW title.
Yeah, the real world's title. Tuesday, Texas failure. Mm-hmm. So this is interesting in with modern eyes because the idea of all out running so close to all in, you're like, whoa, that's way too close to run pay-per-views. And WWE learned that lesson with this show just 4 days after or something. They did a Tuesday in Texas follow-up. So bad, they never did it again.
But because of that show, also because of this show, and then that show, leads to Rumble. Because that's when the title is vacated, and Flair then wins that title in what is thought to be one of the best Rumbles ever.
Nightstick on pole.
Who da man? I've written Who da man.
First Brett Shawn.
Actually not controversial.
Old casual racism.
Just mild racism.
That's a shame. For mild racism. The main event, or one of the main events, was the All-Americans versus the Foreign Fanatics.
Yeah.
Just made up of foreigners. You can't get more blatantly...
Take that, not America!
You weren't born here! I hate this show.
I know, right, okay. I'm sure we've got something similar here.
Jerry versus mini clowns.
Oh, and you've hyphenated.
I've hyphenated mini clowns.
See, I just went with clowns versus royals.
Yeah. Norris super kicks Jarrett. Chuck Norris, in this match, super kicks Jeff Jarrett.
I've written here, Chuck Norris kick.
Undertaker versus Kane.
I've written down future Attitude Era. It's like everyone in this match is part of the Attitude Era, apart from like a handful of characters.
Yeah, because of course Kane isn't Kane here. He's Isaac Yankem. Diesel's year end.
Company's biggest draw.
And thank God it comes to an end here, and we can move on into business.
Yeah, fortunately, we've got to put the title on Brett here. But, man, this company was doing real well under Diesel. I've seen Kevin Nash's flip charts that show how successful he was as being champion.
Well, it's successful for him. Crowd boo Michaels.
Yeah.
Even though he's the babyface against Sid.
Barrett in cage. Shark cage match.
He looks ridiculous.
Needs more bum bag. Bum bag for our American viewers is what you might call a fanny pack.
A vagina satchel.
But we would
Fanny over here.
We would call it a bum
vagina.
bag. Because I keep making Editor Terry laugh by talking about how when I was a kid, I had a Fat Willie's bum bag.
What?
So you go to Fat Willie Surf Shack.
Was that a shop?
Yeah, in Cornwall.
Oh, I've never been there.
You're not? Oh, man.
I don't know that was a
If
thing.
you're going to Cornwall, you're going to get yourself a Fat Willie's bum bag.
It's the 90s.
They still make them now.
Created heel authority. This is the birth of the evil Mince McMahon.
Vince McMahon.
Mince McMahon. Mince McMahon came from this show.
Kane's red light. It's Kane versus Mankind, and they bathe it in red light. And you thought they did it like it was stupid when they did it for the Fiend. It's like, oh no, they had this idea in '97 and it was rubbish then as well.
Not talked about.
Happened in '97.
Russo's finest hour.
Russo's best work.
Yeah.
It is. It's the best
actually
thing
good.
he ever did.
It's actually good. Honourable mention to Rock catching Bossman's baton. It's one of the coolest moments ever in wrestling.
Who da man?
Who da man? But perfect swerve storytelling.
Changed his career.
Vince Russo's.
Yeah, because he basically like,
Peaked.
I've got to try and keep doing this again and again. Give me another tournament.
Swerve's work.
No, The Rock's career.
Yeah.
In terms of like, we're on the precipice now. He's WWF champion. This heel run is going to be incredible for him in '99. But then he's going to turn babyface. And then by end of '99 into 2000, biggest babyface on the planet.
Jericho hates China. This is the match where they have the Intercontinental Championship match, and Jericho's gone on record saying that was the worst person to work with. And actually, not the first time he has to walk someone through a match at Survivor Series.
We'll get to that later. However, for me, I wrote blatant false advertising. They knew that Steve Austin was not going to wrestle on this show. They knew well in advance Steve Austin was not going to wrestle on the show. But they advertised that Steve Austin was wrestling in the main event of this show up until the pay-per-view started, and then continued throughout the pay-per-view.
They didn't know he was going to get hit by a car, Luke. Did for Rock.
It's Rikishi.
Rikishi should have won.
Rikishi push done. This is the end of this push. He's revealed as the man who ran over Austin. A month later, his push is dead.
Get out, car.
He was quite high up in the air.
Well, yeah. When he was, I'm not saying get out of the car when you're hoisted in the air by Steve Austin's forklift thing, like crane thing. But you can clearly see Triple H on the other side of the car. So he's in the passenger seat and he's going to get out. And then from the other side, it gets attacked by the crane. And Triple H moves to the side that he can't get out of.
Yeah. Well, Austin
He could have gotten out of that.
He had the little clicker. Boop, boop. The car was locked from the outside. Couldn't get out. Austin kills guy.
Invasion ending whimper.
It is. We did some of this in our Every Attitude era, so I thought I'd go with something different. Jazz just debuts. This is the end of the invasion, the final night of the invasion. And Jazz from ECW just debuts for the Alliance. And they're like, oh, Jazz is here. And I was like, why now? Why do this now on the last night? And then she doesn't win.
Not actually Alliance.
That's totally WCW. Shane?
Kurt?
Steve? It's all WCW guys.
Well, and Booker T, RVD, were those the other two?
Yeah.
All titles changed.
Yeah, all titles changed hands. SmackDown 6 tag.
No Man's Land. Well, this is when Heyman throws the weapon in it. It falls right between them.
Yeah.
Love that spot.
We did it again in Saudi Arabia with Brock and Roman. However, and I'm going to go on record here, I'm always here for the hot takes. This is the best the Big Show has ever looked, when he's just wrestling in Wranglers and he's just wrestling in jeans. Big jean show. I think he looks cool. Just wrestling in jeans. It's like the British Bulldog in '99.
Hunter's squashed throat.
RVD throttle
Oh,
H.
yeah, that's... I met, mad respect for Triple H for wrestling for what? Another 25 minutes through to the end with a crushed larynx.
Ugh, no thank you.
Goldberg beats Evolution.
Yeah?
He beats off Ric Flair. He beats off Batista. He beats off Orton. And then he beats off Triple H at the end. I like this match, actually.
I think by this point, most of us were over the Goldberg thing. Sean's great performance. He is fantastic in that Austin Bischoff Survivor Series match. He is superb in it.
Avoid the hole. So Taz has his keys to victory prelude before this. And it's, this thing. And the final bit of advice he has is avoid the hole. And it is just done so he can say hole.
End of Badass. He kills off the American Badass, and then he comes back the following year as the Dead Man.
The greatest gimmick. He should have returned the next year from an egg in Survivor Series. Undertaker versus Heidenreich.
It's long, and it's not very good.
Undertaker Heidenreich has an average of 2.89 out of 10 stars.
Too high. Debut of Spinner. US, that is.
Eddie's death fallout.
Yeah, Randy replaces Eddie.
Yeah, 2 weeks before that happened, and Eddie was going to be on Team SmackDown. Randy Meme Face. This is Randy Orton doing the...
Oh,
when Undertaker returns, and
Yeah.
it's the face.
see.
You're going to have to find that meme, Ellis.
Look, it's bad.
Spirit Squad, farewell.
Oh, no.
They got beaten by the Legends on this show, and then the following Raw, that was when they were shipped off back to developmental.
Sure were. Thanks, DX. Always getting over that new talent. Batista Booker stinks. This main event is rubbish. Awful match, and stinks up the show.
Punk and Hunter.
Yeah.
CM Punk and Triple H are on the same Survivor Series team.
Not only that, Punk's the most over person in that match, and he overshadows DX. So Hunter pulls Punk in for some heat transfers to be like, yes, this is CM Punk. and he lets CM Punk do the, are you ready?
At that moment, Triple H is like, I'm going to fire you on your wedding day one day.
No, he's thinking what he did in this match. Let's bury everyone.
Yeah, there's a clean sweep.
Clean
isn't it?
sweep. Mike Knox gets eliminated. Immediately, Sean turns to Hunter and says, who's that?
God, I hate this bit of DX.
And Hunter goes, he's from ECW. And Sean's like, what's that? Awful.
Look at him now, running NXT. Now, I'm going to do 4 words, and I'm just going to do it. But you'll see.
Hello, police.
You'll see why. Should have been Kennedy. Kennedy. That's okay. That will allow that.
I'll allow it.
It's like an echo. it's like a 3.2 words.
Carly Hornswoggle DQ.
Yeah.
This show has the Great Khali versus Hornswoggle, and it ends in a DQ. It's not the funniest thing about that storyline, though. It's when they were doing the announcements on Raw, and they were going through this list of achievements, and then if they didn't have those achievements, they had to leave the ring. And one of those was a former champion. And Sandman, as a former ECW champion, stayed in the ring. Even though he was supposed to leave.
Yeah.
And Vince is looking like, why is he still here?
Why Kozlov?
Man, because you got to push them monster heels.
It was Triple H versus Kozlov, which is really just a way to set up Edge, cash in, make it a 3-way.
Yeah.
But why Kozlov? That was a boring match before Edge comes in.
Yeah.
Kozlov.
Just loads of matches. Like, this show is just a bunch of matches.
Nearly killed concept because a few months after that, Vince McMahon told investors in February that they were going to get rid of Survivor Series.
Some people overruled him on that one, convinced him that the history and the lineage of the show should mean that we keep doing Survivor Series. But he's hated it for years.
But they still tried to do something else. We'll carry on and we'll get to it.
Well, yeah. Anyway, I've written here the Kingston push. This is when they were seriously looking at Kofi Kingston as a guy to push. Then Randy Orton decided, no.
No.
Stupid. But yeah, it's Team Kingston versus Team Orton.
Super kick opening spot.
Incredible opening spot.
That is one of the best openings for, a match I did not care about at the time either. Hated John Cena, hated DX. But then Shawn just, boom, super kick on Triple H. They were meant to be allies right at the start. And Cena's like, ooh. So good.
More hot takes. This is the greatest thing DX ever did. This one spot.
Yeah.
Is the greatest thing that DX ever did.
Bragging rights undermining. So this is the same year that Vince McMahon says, yeah, we're not going to do Survivor Series anymore. And like you said, people convinced him to keep Survivor Series. But Vince, being Vince, still tried to sabotage his own decision by putting on bragging rights, which was essentially Raw versus SmackDown the month before Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah. And the N in bragging rights was the Nexus logo.
Yes, that is pretty good.
Nexus already dead.
Yeah.
Only debuted a couple of months ago, and they are already dead.
Rock's forgotten return.
It's not a forgotten return. Everyone remembers this.
I don't. Do you remember Ellis?
Because the whole show's built around The Rock's, his return match.
I feel like everyone always talks about Cena versus Rock. That's all they did.
Oh, right.
But Rock and Cena tagging against the Awesome Truth.
Maybe
I should say Awesome Truth Forgotten.
I get what you mean there. There's a lot to know about, a lot to remember about this show. You mentioned there, The Rock's return. Awesome Truth showing how serious they are by rapping on their way to the ring. But my favourite bit comes from one of the 5-on-5 matches, which features Jack Swagger. And nothing encompasses the 2011 mid-card by Michael Cole saying, a refocused Jack Swagger after being embarrassed by the Muppets a few weeks ago. So my 3 words are, embarrassed by Muppets.
Did nothing wrong. In this title reign. I thought it was a very well-booked title reign.
Autumn of Punk.
Shield era begins.
Ryback momentum ending.
Ryback momentum derailing. We were so close to shaking.
Oh, but this is the end of Ryback's main event run here. If the Hell in a Cell hadn't already pretty much killed it, this is the end of it.
What was his name? The referee? Brad
Maddox.
Yeah. Brad Maddox.
Becomes GM eventually. Anyway, I've written here, got people interested. Talking about listening to Observer Radio the following day. Dave and Brian talked about this. This is the big angle. These 3 new guys coming up from FCW, and what's going to be for them, and NXT obviously at the time. And this was a hot angle that genuinely got the internet, forum internet era buzzing of interest because people were done. People were so uninterested in WWE. This got people interested.
Punk Brian misused.
Divas versus Divas. That match has 14 women, and it goes 11 minutes.
Booking Reigns right.
He's the guy. Make no mistake about it, folks. This is when people are he's the guy right there.
Ziggler went nowhere. I thought this was the moment that Ziggler's time.
I know. It's what we all thought. And I was like, man, Ziggler got so much of this. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He's on the next pay-per-view that he's forgotten about. It, however, is Dolph's best performance. This is the best thing he did in the company.
Well, I will push back on that and say the cash-in for me after Mania.
Yeah, but that also leads to nothing because he gets concussed.
This leads to nothing.
It's very true. But this lasts an hour.
2K hiring begins.
That's right, it is. Because it's this, Warrior and Goldberg.
Yeah. It was when 2K were like, but we're going to put people on the front cover of the video games that Vince doesn't like. And then everyone got so excited, Vince was like, okay, we'll give him another chance.
A massive misfire.
What, Sting?
In WWE? Yeah.
I finally got to see that Sting versus DX match I wanted. Because of this. I liked it, but this was cool.
It is a very cool moment. I'm thinking big picture, a massive misfire. Sting He loses at Mania, and then he loses again, and that's it.
Deadly Game sham.
No Deadly Games. Yeah. This ain't no Deadly Games, this one. This is not as good as Russo's.
Authority never dies.
Cry River, Roman.
You're not cool anymore.
And he wasn't cool leading into this. This is well uncool, Roman.
Oh, yeah. How should we get babyface members of the Shield over? Let's have them cry. Cry because they're sad.
With the confetti falling on his face. Cry me a river, Roman.
Slow down, Shane. So this is the famous... Shane McMahon's on one elimination team side. He gets in the ring. He's excited. He gets to wrestle. I imagine it's really exciting to be in there. He's with Chris Jericho. So he goes... And Jericho's like, slow the F down. Because he just wallops Chris right in the eye.
It's the first thing he does is punch him right in the face. And Jericho, you can see Jericho like, well, okay. Right. Gets him in the corner and just goes, slow the F down.
Yeah. But I'm so excited. I'm Shane McMahon.
It's a scrappy do energy that Shane's got. No, I've actually got best brand warfare.
Yeah, it's great.
Brand warfare's awful and it's rubbish, but this is the best brand warfare I ever got.
It's the year of the brand split.
Yeah.
Worked me hard.
Fans hated. Wrong.
Well, I hated it. But the night, the day after, and then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a second. This is genius.
That's exactly it.
And that was the first time I remember my Mark mind going, oh, there's other ways to how I think they can go.
That's it. Everyone hated this. And everyone was wrong. Because it was a genius move.
Fuck you, Jinder! Brock doesn't want to work with you. So you're going to lose the belt to AJ Styles a week beforehand.
I feel like a lot of 3 count is becoming just Luke's agenda against Triple H, because I've written here, Trips ruins everything.
What did he do in this one?
This is when it's Triple H and Kurt Angle on Team Raw.
Oh.
And Triple H beats all of your favorite former NXT champions. He beats Kurt Angle, who's on his own team, and he sets up a match with Braun Strowman that never happens. Trips ruins everything.
Must be in Triple H in the closing Braun angle. Calf crusher escape.
Yeah.
So cool. The way like Brock just goes, no, Clark, just slam your head against the ground.
I saw that, I was like, man, can't get better.
Raw wins, lol.
This is the year.
This is my year. When I predicted that Raw would win every match as a joke.
We were on the podcast and you said, Raw's going to win everything. And I was like, no, they won't. It'll be 50-50 booking. You was like, no, I'm telling you now, Raw's going to win every single match.
And they won everything. Apart from the pre-show.
Doesn't count.
But they won everything on the main card.
Flair over Asuka. So because it's supposed to be Becky and Ronda, and then Becky gets busted open by Nia Jax. And so on SmackDown, she's picking her replacement, and the crowd are yelling for it to be Asuka, and she just bypasses Asuka to pick Charlotte Flair, and everyone boos.
Yeah. Turn heel later.
It got better. It's coming over my Styles one. I thought Styles versus Lesnar can't get any better than this. And then I saw Danielson versus Lesnar. I was like, oh no, it can get better.
I would just have Danielson turn heel a week later following this match, so it's not heel versus heel for the first 10 minutes.
It does undermine. It's such a good match, but it's a better match now if you're not watching it in context, because it's like 2 days earlier he turned heel.
Mechanical issues booking.
Thanks, Saudi Arabia.
Of course, everyone got stuck in Saudi Arabia. They had to hotshot an NXT main roster invasion angle.
It's Triple H's first booking SmackDown.
Yeah.
And he basically was like, I'm going to book all my NXT kids to come up. Here's Adam Cole. He's going to beat Bryan Danielson in the main event. Great.
Keith Lee push.
Keith Lee push.
Oh, what we could have had.
I know. This should have been the moment.
Raw wins, lol.
Stupid Lana finish.
Yeah.
Lana wins the women's Survivor Series match without ever getting in the ring, because Nia Jax and Bianca Belair get a double count out. Stupid.
Mega awkward entrances. Do you remember?
So long.
Everyone gets entrances. I think Kane's the only one in costume.
Kane in gear.
And then they all have to wait there when Shane McMahon does his long entrance. And then it's The Undertaker's entrance and he walks down and nobody's in the ring.
They're all gone. It's the
What was the point?
It's the weirdest thing.
Where was Rock? This whole show was built around 25 years since Rock's debut, and he wasn't there.
Yeah, well,
It was so desperate on WWE's part.
it did reek of desperation. Last brand warfare.
Oh, I guess it is.
Yeah, didn't do it again.
Bring Vince back. Bring Vince back for stuff like this.
Funniest shit ever. This is one of my favourite live stream reactions we've ever done. I was in fits of giggles over the golden egg. The whole show is built around Vince McMahon with a golden Fabergé egg.
For Red Notice, the Rock, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot movie on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you remember, like, he'd fired a bunch of people, and the first thing is Vince's return to TV. He arrives in the limo, and he books everyone to stand outside the limo, cheering him. And he comes out and he holds aloft this golden egg, and everyone goes, "Whoa!"
I'm like, what's going on? There's no context to set this up.
And there's just tons of backstage segments with Vince McMahon.
It's golden egg.
You can't understand it.
Because it's old Vince McMahon talking. I'm talking about my golden egg. I got it from The Rock. The Rock's going to come over here and he's going to pick up the golden egg.
And then the golden egg goes missing. My favourite moment from that live stream is you recovering from laughter. It's like, it's just getting started. This is going to continue.
Yeah, because it did. Sami Zayn found out it was Austin Theory who'd stolen the egg, and that gave us weeks of Vince imparting wisdom around a pencil.
Yeah, and staring at his butt every time he left. He was like,
I'm looking at ass on that kid as it is.
This is why it wasn't all bad with McMahon. Rock stuff crust.
"You're welcome, Dwayne."
Regal right there.
No brand warfare.
J-Hug Sammy.
J-Hug Sammy!
Oh, what a moment. Really, really great stuff. That bloodline run of pay-per-view post-match angles, tremendous.
So good.
Now go watch our other 3 count on every women's champion ever.
Wrong era.
In wrong era.
Hey, yes, we got it. Still wrong era.
Still wrong era.
It's time for the 1, 2, 3.